Hello, my name's John Neal and I'm a signwriter specialising in chalkboard artwork for pubs, cafes and shops. I'm going to show you how a high standard of chalkboard artwork will give that vital first impression of quality about your business. I'm going to talk to you about lettering styles, lettering shapes and colour and other aspects of lettering which will produce this wonderful effect. Now, let's suppose you were driving past a sign of this poor quality. What's the message it sends to you? That we're shabby, we have low standards and we really don't care. Now that's a lot better. This gives me a lot more confidence to think that this business is top quality and is on top of its game.
Right, I'd like to show you how the lettering needs to be loose but controlled. I'm going to put a few lines on to make sure it's accurate using a ruler. Right, watch that the motion comes from the elbow. You have to be fairly quick but under control. So like that. And secondly to that, I would probably then use that as a basis to just tidy up the letters as well. Right, let's look at letter shapes. Now the letters that we have are from the Romans. Now the Romans only used capital letters. We developed small letters later on. They look like this, of course. Now the letters have a certain weight to them. I'll show you with the letter E and B and in particular S. And even though they look well balanced, in fact they have a weight to the bottom of them, like a snowman that's been sat on the ground. Right, now if I turn these over upside down, you'll see that the weighting which gives them that uprightness this way is completely back to front and they just look ridiculous. If you need to look for other letters, look on the computer for the fonts on there or newspapers. Generally J doesn't have a top to it. Right, another decorative effect is to put a shadow around the letters. Now if we imagine that the light is, say, coming from this direction, from up and to the right, then the shadows would all appear on the left and underside of the letters. So if I put blue on here, the shading would appear down here. Right, the light source is the same direction, and this time we're going to use brown. Right, a further decorative effect is taken from the canal boats of England, and that is to put another highlight as if another light is coming from underneath. And with the blue, I'm going to use a light blue to mark it just there. And with the brown, I can put orange on here. Like that. Right, a final touch to this effect, it's almost my trademark, is just to put a highlight on there in white, like that. Colour is very important to convey a message to your letters. Now which of these two looks more appetising, which is more to do with food? I suggest blue is not, so that's not a good suggestion, whereas orange and yellow are far more food orientated. Little trick here. There. Now, if even though I put these colours on top of the white sort of a base, I'm now going to use an orange to just continue that idea of the shadow and just put a shadow effect on the left hand underside of this, and it will tidy up all those loose edges that you can see around here. So the orange is going to go here, and then white on the right hand top edges. Finally, here's a little tip, the black, very useful for tidying up little pieces here. If you make a mistake, you can use the black pen and cover up all manner of errors. You can also tidy up and sharpen up some of the edges as well. I think purple's appropriate for scary things like Halloween, the orange is fine for food, maybe green is good for salads, and pink maybe for desserts. I spoke earlier about Roman letters, but how can you use other designs to convey other messages? For instance, the word hot. Right, I think this is going to be a bit more soft and rounded, so almost sausage shaped. Of course, the colour is important as well. We've got this shape which is very soft and looks almost like baked bread, but I'm going to use colours and I'm going to heat it up from the bottom with red and then add some others above it. Right, the final piece is to put this white on here. It's quite easy to smudge these in with the finger. And then just pick out the highlight. White that side and then red on this side. That tidies the edges up as well. Now you notice I've overlapped these, so we can pick that out with a black. One final thing, to give it that sort of heat coming off, quite an easy thing, just give it some steam. Right, now the word luxury. I'm going to use a sort of a Victorian copper plate this time and give it a feeling of quality. Well, having got this roughly right, I'm just going to add some more flourishes to it. So I'm going to take this under there. And now I'm going to use the thicks and thins and thicken up all the downstrokes. Get rid of bits of that one. Like that bit there. Okay, now I'm going to put some shading on this and I'm going to use purple. It's got a bit of quality feel about it. Finally for this I'm going to put an extra touch of the sparkle onto the shading, the bottom left hand edge. First in this light blue onto the purple, and now the last little sparkle of white on this blue. Right, now let's try the word, let's say winter. Now I'm going to use a blue, light blue, and keep it fairly formal. Right, now this is the basic blue. I always use the lighter colours, by the way, on the black. If I use blue on its own, the dark blue wouldn't stand out well. So I'm going to put some white edging on the top, and I can make it a little bit wobbly to make it almost snowy or icy. And while I've got white in the hand, I can also just bring some icicle things there. There's quite a bit of snow on the top. Oh, it's snowing. And then, just to finish off, blue edge. I'm feeling cold already.
Right, here's another effect. It's sort of a metallic edge which I'd like to show you. I use the phrase quiz night. Here we go. They're going to be quite chunky letters. I'm just doing the outlines to start with. And an overlap as well. The overlap means you can get more letters in for the space. Right. Right, this white is just a base colour. I could use any colour really, but I'm going to use blue, I think. Right, I'm going to colour this in light blue now and leave a white edge, which I'll reinstate in a moment. Careful with this overlap. Right, I'm now going to reinstate this white outline, ready for an effect later on. I can pick out this overlap later on in black. Right, I'm just going to pick out this overlap with a black pen. Right, now I'm going to show this metallic effect. It's quite simple and fairly effective. Just on the dark side here, put a white mark, and while it's still wet, just flick it down. Do that a couple of times. Right. It's as easy as that. And now I'm just going to put the word night in over the top of this. So, right, finally, just to make those letters of night stand out, I'm going to outline in black. Right, this effect is what I call my Nevada desert effect, and I'm going to put the words live music, and this is how it goes. And then just colour this in, this base white. Right, I'm going to put an horizon line across there and put a landscape down here, starting with brown, and again leaving the white outline shape. Brown through to orange. Start with blue at the top, completely blue I think. And then above this line I'm going to put a sky. Throw some clouds in. Right, I'm just going to finish off the horizon now with a nice black line across there. And invent some mountains. Now the reflection I think would go up the side there. Okay, now I'll just do the white outline. And just tidy up all these little edges with a smaller pen and sharpen the corners. There. Right, I'll just enhance the overlaps here by putting a black line round. Yeah. And then let's go put this metallic edge flick to it. Okay. Tidy this up. Okay. Right, live music overlapping across there, and I'm going to make it a little bit more lively, a little bit more rhythm to it. And then I'll outline that in a second. Right, let's just make this word music stand out by outlining it in black. I can also tidy up the ends if I want to. That's a bit too long there, so I'm going to cut that off. And I've got a bit of a space there, so I'll just fill it in with something spectacular. There. Right, now it's very important not to use all these all on one board. It's just too complex and too rich. You wouldn't after all put fish, steak and curry all on one plate. You just use one of these ideas and keep the rest fairly simple. Right, I'm now going to show you how I designed and painted the introductory board that you saw at the very start. Now, I rather like to put a border around so I know if I'm going to cut into it on one side or the other. And it almost wraps up the final piece like a Christmas present. Right, I'm going to put introduction across the top. Right, now the word quality on a bit of an angle. Using just a crayon to mark it out. Right, chalkboard artwork. May as well use a chalkboard. So I'll mark out a board and leave some space for by myself. Do the thicks and thins there. Right, let's go rehearse it. Chalkboard across there. Right, art, big letters, plenty of thick and thins and serifs, and overlap. We've got everything here. A moment. One of the tricks is to help out with the second coat of white. If you aim at the top here of the letters, a couple of dots, it gives an impression of it being highlighted. There. Okay, now I'm going to put some colours on. I'm going to use a dark blue and a light blue to colour the word quality from the bottom edge. So here we go. I'll just mark exactly where they're going to go. All the blues up to there. It's a nice straight line. I'm going to put an outline to this in white and blue anyway, so the edges are not too crucial. And the light blue above. And then just blend them in with my finger in a moment. Right, I'll just put the white back on here. And then blend it in with my finger. The white and blue look nice there. Right, let that dry and then put an outline of white and blue underneath. Right, the next stage is to put a shadow to it. I'm going to use red, a bit of pink and a little dash of white. So all on the left-hand underside edge. I could make this line thicker, but this single line will do. That's the red. Right, now the little sparkle with pink, and it's going to be on the left-hand underside edge here, my trademark. Right, now once that pink is dry, I'll then put the little white dot on just to finally highlight that shadow. Right, now while I've got the white pen in my hand, I'll just go over chalkboard and put that white top to it. There we are. Right, now then, the word art, I'm going to put it orange at the bottom and bleed the colour up into the white. So I can put orange with thick pen across there. And then use a small one to get the detail right. Right, now just bring that white down to the orange, trying to touch and discolour this white pen. And then I think to blend the two, this time I'm going to get dotty. Right, let's just pick out this overlap and make it stand out with the black pen. And then finally, just bring a bit of sparkle around here. They're running. I'll show you how to correct the errors. There, that's a nice mess. Right, if you have a disaster like here, these have run and I've rubbed them over to stop them going any further. I'm just going to black them out and rub the black in. They'll dry quite quickly and cover that up. So So the black pen, very, very useful. Right, the last thing to do is sort of wrap the present up in its wrapping, and that's put this border line all the way around. So one down there, line across here. It's not essential to do this, but I like to do it. It looks not through there, and then finally a little one across the top here. I can just tidy these up with the black. There, that's about done. Right, and just to finish off, I'm going to put a sort of fireworks starburst on this end of the T. So put them on that. I think that'll do. There, finished. Now I hope that all this work has shown you that the first impressions given by good chalkboards are very important. I've talked about Roman lettering, thicks and thins, serifs and shading, different effects and colour. And all these things contribute to make these signs best as they can be and eye-catching for everybody to look at. Thank you. The pens I use are made by Kuretake, and this is Zig Postman pens, and this one is waterproof. I use 3 different sorts of pens. This thickest one has got 2 sizes to it. There's that thickest one which I've already used. Then if you turn the pen just sideways, you can get another slightly smaller line. And then this pen is medium, and you can get a line like that. And then there is a fine pen as well, this one. The Postman pens come in all different colours, as you know, but they also have fluorescent versions on some of them, and this is the orange. They're very good for highlights. Here's the fluorescent. These are Zig Postman wet wipe pens, and they are erasable with a damp cloth. Right, this shows that this is completely waterproof. I even use these pens to sign write my van, and they are permanent on there and don't wash off in the rain. Whereas the wet wipe will erase with a damp cloth. These post chalk pens are very good on whiteboards and are a water-based pigment and wipe off with a dry cloth. These Illumograph pens are very good on glass and will show up very well under an ultraviolet light, which must be quite exciting. These pens made by Kuretake, the Zig Postman pens, are in fact water-based and are completely odourless, and yet they are also waterproof, and there are versions which are quite easily removed with a damp cloth.
pens I use are made by Kuretake, and this is Zig Posterman pens, and this one is waterproof. I use 3 different sorts of pens. This thickest one has got 2 sizes to it. There's that thickest one which I've already used. Then if you turn the pen just sideways, you can get another slightly smaller line. And then this pen is medium, and you can get a line like that. And then there is a fine pen as well, this one. The Posterman pens come in all different colours, as you know, but they also have fluorescent versions on some of them, and this is the orange. They're very good for highlights. Here's the fluorescent. These are Zig Posterman wet wipe pens, and they are erasable with a damp cloth. Right, this shows that this is completely waterproof. I even use these pens to sign write my van, and they're permanent on there and don't wash off in the rain. Whereas the wet wipe will erase with a damp cloth. These post chalk pens are very good on whiteboards and are a water-based pigment and wipe off with a dry cloth. These Illumograph pens are very good on glass and will show up very well under an ultraviolet light, which must be quite exciting. These pens made by Kuretake, the Zig Posterman pens, are in fact water-based and are completely odourless, and yet they are also waterproof, and there are versions which are quite easily removed with a damp cloth.